What did you notice? What did you find? What's something that particularly stood out to you as you looked at the criteria and looked at these two examples of mini lessons? Yes. Teaching point, yes, repeated at least 4 times. And when you script it, it's never quite what you really say. So probably if we go back to the video, they said it more than that. What else did you notice as you looked at those mini lessons? What kind of popped out to you, or you said, yep, that's strong in both of them? Yes.
I just noticed that there was a gradual release of responsibility in both. It was very teacher-centered at the beginning when they were modeling with both examples, and then it was just kind of a gradual release until it was, okay, now you do it on your own. You work with a partner. Just solid teaching.
Could you all hear that? Gradual release of responsibility. At first, the mini lesson is very teacher-centered, and then active engagement, the kids are more involved, and then link, we send them off to do it by themselves. And as I coach into reading and writing workshop, that is probably the most common thing I coach, is there was some point we were taught to ask kids questions. And I have watched teachers flounder trying to get the teaching point from the kids. Now, there are inquiry lessons, and I'll model one tomorrow. But we are not trying to get them to guess our teaching point. I'm going to tell them what I'm going to teach them. That first part, the reason a mini lesson can be 8 to 10 minutes is that I am teaching, very pure teaching. Erin even said, I didn't take that question during my mini lesson. I got people going and then I walked over to that person. It is not a time to take questions or comments. The active engagement is their time to engage and talk, and we do what both Jen and Erin did, is we go around and listen in to those partnerships or look over their shoulder if they're writing, so that we can come back after active engagement and comment on how we saw the thinking. And I do not say, Bruce, would you please share the thinking that you were talking about with your partner, Pam? Because Bruce may talk about something else. And the younger Bruce, well, I shouldn't say that, but definitely kindergartners, first graders, that, you ask them to talk about what they just said, they don't. They tell you what they had for supper last night. And you're saying, this had nothing to do with what I wanted everybody else to hear. So I'm very likely to say, I overheard Bruce saying, and then I can even make it even better than what Bruce said. And I've never had a kid refute that. I've never had a child refute that anything I attributed to them that made them look smart.
Another thing I noticed was common language, that each section kind of starts the same way with the same kind of phrase. Now it's your turn, or now you're going to try, or today and every day. So no matter what, if it's a first grade lesson or an 8th grade lesson, it's that same phrase that kind of starts
that same phrase that starts the section, and we gave those to you in the template. Yesterday we have been, today I'm going to teach you, now you get to try this. So today, at any time you're writing an argument piece or a narrative piece or an informational text, you can, and restate my teaching point. I can tell when I'm doing model lessons in classrooms where that's happening, because the kids kind of heads up. It's a structure they know, and then the depth and the variety comes in what I say after that. But those are markers for our kids. So thank you, Rose. Anything else that you notice about these, or that you, yes, Ginny?
I noticed that, like all good teaching, this does require the teacher to come up with things, articles. Yesterday you had little handouts that guided us. It's not something you can decide to do on the way from the teacher's lounge to the classroom. Here's what I'm doing today. It's in the preparation.
It takes some preparation, and that's why we're doing this together, because we firmly believe that everybody shouldn't have to do that on their own. The MESA units give us that framework. What we're adding into that framework are the grammar lessons that have not been there as fully as we need them. So I'm going to depend on you to get that lesson done, and you'll have that on the Google Docs so I can use it, and I'll do another lesson and put it in. And so collaboratively, we will gather those things so that I don't have to spend and you don't have to spend an hour every night pulling resources together. Because at least those of elementary people, it's not the only thing you teach. And even secondary people, you may have several sections of, and those sections may be different. So yes, this is highly planned. And that's the work we're going to be doing this afternoon. Other comments or questions about this?
I like to focus at the end, like with Aaron, looking back into our story of where we're going to try it, like marking that spot. So when we go back to our writing area, we're focused and ready to get right to work instead of, where am I going to start? I mean, she did that, which is part of it, the lesson.
Go back and find where you're going to start. Make a plan so when you walk away, you know what your plan is. I've watched you do that. I took a whole group of 6th grade teachers into Jackie's class. I'd never been in her class before, but I just talked with her enough that I figured we were going to see great teaching, and we did. And it was very clear. 6th graders are not the most focused human beings in the world. And before they left the carpet, and yes, she brings them up, they knew exactly where they were going to work and exactly what they were going to do when they headed back. And it was not a social time. They didn't chat. They didn't do other stuff on the way back. They knew what they were going to do, and they went and did it. It was very impressive. It was very impressive. What?
They sure didn't feel that way, but they...
Some days it doesn't feel that way. Yes, that's always true for all of us. So, all right.
Non-negotiables at the bottom now.
Ah.
That we must use it now in writing.
Okay, the comment that Jackie was making about, now these of the, please remember to, these are the non-negotiables. Use your own writing, which is, of course, what the kids most pay attention to. And you don't have to be a great writer, you just have to be one step ahead of them. That's why I wouldn't teach high school kids. I might not be able to pull that off.
The and/or is important, don't we?
Yes, and/or, get in there. And/or show how published writers do that. And I think that you noticed in Jen's and that she used both. She had her own writing and the published writing. Did you use your own? You just apprenticeship. So you were apprenticing to already published.
Well, or students, other students too.
But it was already published. I mean, it was finished student writing. Yeah. Or show how a student has done this, and that's part of what Erin did. Some of her examples were student writing. And then immediately have students use the new writing, the new learning in their writing. And one of the things I noticed that Erin said is, I know you may already like what you have. I know you may have already done this part. And today I want you to try this out. And then you may choose to use that in your finished piece or not. But that's one of the things we need to establish for 3rd grade on up. And young children, they seem to be more willing to do that. That what I ask you to try, I want you to try. Whether or not it ends up in your final draft, that's up to you. But I want you to try it. And notebooks are places where we try out things for that 3rd grade and up. We don't do whole, complete, finished pieces. We use those notebooks for that inquiry, that trying it out, that doing this piece, and then making those choices about how our final piece is going to look. Other things you want to emphasize on this? Yes.
It kind of happens automatically if you hold true to a writing workshop, but the idea of showing the benefit of the grammar rule,
Yes.
not just the correctness of it. And that's why we added some of these non-negotiables to it.
And I know that both of you said why we would do it. We would do it to connect ideas in the compound sentences. We would do it to add in a piece of information without having to make a big to-do. So the why is important because we're teaching the writer, not the writing. I am far less concerned about how that one piece of writing looks than I am concerned about how that writer can use this strategy anytime they are doing that kind of writing. So I'm really interested in that being a new tool in that writer's toolbox, not just that piece of writing gets better. And I think we've all had the experience where students have tried out something that was new and it actually made their writing worse, but they tried it. They tried it and they learned how to do it. And anytime we are learning how to do something, the first few times we do it, it may not be pretty. That's okay. I'm learning how to do it. I'm approximating. And approximating isn't just for little kids. I'm still approximating. That's what I was doing at 4:30 this morning, is looking back at my mini lesson and going, oh no, I could do this. Maybe if I change this. But if I use this for my mini lesson, that continuing to think and refine, we want the kids to have these tools. And that's what our mini lessons are about, is giving kids tools that they can use, today, and any other time they're doing this kind of work. Other comments? Questions? Okay. So tell your neighbor, what do you think is most important to remember as you step in this afternoon to writing mini lessons yourself? What just really pops out for you?